Did you know that there is a reason for all of the challenges and issues that plague the community of those labeled or known as Blacks and African Americans? Have you ever found yourself questioning why they're able to be murdered in the street with no justice, or why they make up over 80% of the population of those incarcerated but only 16% of the population? I can assure you it is no fault of their own. In fact, it's something called historical trauma. My name is Worsham L, and I'm your host for Mind Over Matter, and today we will be listening and talking about historical trauma.
Mind over matter, a key to a beautiful life, a key to a beautiful life. No stress, no trauma for me. In my days I will be free. I'll have a key to my beautiful life. I'll have the key to my beautiful life.
Historical trauma is our topic for today. Historical trauma is a concept that describes the distress that it results from the colonization of European nations. We will discuss 4 components today with the examples of the following 2 components. You'll have to check out our first video on historical trauma to learn more about those first 2 components. The first component is called the colonial injury. This is the actual process of the colonization that resulted in being conquered, subjugated, and oppressed. The second component is called collective experience, which is the group's experience of the colonial injury that directly impacts their identities and their relationships. The third component is cumulative effects. The cumulative effects describe the laws and policies that help to perpetuate or continue the colonial injury and all of the oppression and challenges that we see today. The cumulative effects that I found to be most significant when I was learning about historical trauma included the 13th Amendment, which is an amendment that we all have known to abolish slavery, with the exception of criminalization, which is why we are able to understand mass incarceration and the school to prison pipeline. Some other additional policies and laws, but definitely not limited to, include redlining, the Jim Crow laws, and many other laws like the war on drugs and all of these wonderful things that have specifically targeted the communities known as Blacks and African Americans. And fourth, but certainly not least, are the cross-generational transmissions of risks and vulnerabilities. Now, this is the foundation of all the stereotypes that you hear about this group of people. Some examples may include teen pregnancy, single-parent households, incest, physical abuse, emotional abuse, distrust of systems. These are just a small few examples of what cross-generational transmissions may look like. But remember, these are conditions, and conditions change. So here are 3 simple steps that you can begin taking today to heal and break those intergenerational transmissions of risks and vulnerabilities. Number 1, speak positively to one another. Speak encouragement and words of affirmation to each other. Make sure that you're assuming the best of one another. Number 2, respect boundaries even when you don't understand them or disagree. And this includes the boundaries for yourself as well. Number 3, provide yourself and your children with routines and structure. Having these things in our lives helps to create predictability and safety, which is something that is inherently lost when we deal with historical trauma, racism, and discrimination. Thanks for joining me today on Mind Over Matter. My name is Worsham L. Make sure that you begin taking these 3 simple steps to heal your community, to heal your family, to heal your life. Make sure you like and subscribe our page so that you're aware of the next coming videos. See you later.
Mind over